First of all, welcome everyone. And I was going to say welcome to July in Boston, but it is actually only May, and we're delighted to be back here again. And we actually had the honor of the first person to do the introductions and welcomes was really David Fialco from General Catalyst, who those of us who know David, he's running a few minutes late, right? So everyone up here is nodding. If he shows up. No, he'll be here. He'll be here. He said 7 minutes about 20 minutes ago, right? So he'll be here shortly. But the reason we wanted him up here first, because he really was the catalyst, we'll say, in terms of bringing everyone together, to have Forbes come to Boston, to have Boston roll out red carpet and bring everyone together to make this happen. So we will hear from David as he will show up. Marty? Ah, there you go. All right, we have the mayor and we have David in the house now. So David, I just gave your introduction, but maybe you can come up afterwards. And it was great. Yeah, but I'm supposed to introduce myself, it says. So here we No, so anyway, David will be up here in a moment. I was saying how General Catalyst was a catalyst, and David was the core of the team there that really brought everyone together, which started out, first year you do anything, it's a bit of a question mark. Is it going to work? Are we going to pull it off? And it came off terrifically last year, and it's why we're back this year to do it even bigger and better. But so we're so pleased to have this summit here for the second year. And one of really the striking observations we had last year was how terrific the collaboration was and the experience of having the startup community so tightly tied to the companies here, the universities, the foundations, and the local government. And it was one of the keys that really made it work. Everyone came together. As a hub of innovation, Boston serves as the ideal host city, and we've hosted this in several cities now. So it's ideal for us to convene some of the most influential young entrepreneurs from around the world. Now, on behalf of all of us at Forbes, I want to express special gratitude and extend special thanks to Governor Baker and to Mayor Walsh, whose offices really did go above and beyond to make sure that we brought the best of Boston and the best of Forbes up to the event. David, thank you. David, I've already said many nice things about you when you weren't here, but we'll say them again, that David Fialco was also, and General Catalyst and the whole team was terrific in helping us out. So thank you, David. I could thank the whole Boston community, but that would take a while. But it was terrific, again, how people really rose to the occasion. And I want to thank our under 30 participants who are here today and all the participants, as they are the nucleus that keeps us going around the world. And it's a network we've created around the world. And finally, I want to give a special thanks to some early sponsors to this year's event. New to sponsorship this year, AARP and Oppenheimer Funds. And then, was that your work? All right. And some of the returning sponsors like Fidelity, Vertex, and Catalant, whose wonderful offices we're in today. So we appreciate that. This summit wouldn't be possible without sponsors, so thanks. Now, for some of you who aren't as familiar with the Forbes Under 30 franchise, it's a global platform where we highlight the entrepreneurs and disruptors under 30 who we say will be leading the world for the next 50 or so years. So an important group. We feature them in Forbes magazine, online, in a private app that we've created that has created a global network of these innovators and disruptors, and also on our mobile website. But where the franchise really comes to life is at these events, these live events, our under 30 summits that we've hosted around the globe. And the biggest one is here in Boston. So this is very special for us. And for us, one of the overarching goals that we always strive for each year is to have the summit shine a light and make an impact on the host city. So we really try to integrate into the city. And last year in Boston, we had more than 6,500 participants at the conference, representing 57 different countries in 46 different states. We had 193 world-class speakers, generated 1.2 billion in social media impressions, And we also had in attendance 774 of what we call the Forbes Under 30 scholars, kids who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to come here and who don't have as much opportunity in kind of tech and some of the innovative groups that we have here. And then also, which is a tally that we're able to tally, which we think is probably considerably more that we don't know about, but we generated more than 1.4 million in investments and grants that were given directly to participants last year at the event. So to bring these highlights to life, what I'm talking about here, we'd like to share with you a video. So if we can go to the videotape for a moment. So the scary part when you see that video and being part of Forbes is that you realize you have to do better the second year, and it's always hard to top that stuff. My strategy for the summit was I had my daughters and nephew and niece who both work here in Boston, and spread them out to all the different venues and made them text me how things were going in different places. Plus they represented me well at the pub crawl and the late night activities, which I got updates from, and I didn't even have to be there, which worked out perfectly for an over 30 couple times. But as I mentioned, our summits are privately funded, and so it's critically important that we do get sponsorship to them, and we wouldn't be able to pull it off without that sponsorship. And so now I want to bring up here Pat Petiti and Rob Biederman from Catalant's co-founders and the co-CEOs, and also the very generous hosts of today's event that were in their offices. So come on up, guys.
So why are we here? Obviously, in an early stage company, there's no shortage of ways that you can spend your relatively small amount of money. There's no shortage of ways that you can spend your time. We work with the leading companies in the US and globally in every sector, whether they're consumer, industrial, financials, technology. And what we hear from them is the millennial group is of critical importance. Selling to them, employing them, managing them, and getting them to believe in their brand. And so an event like this is hugely strategic for us because it matters to our customer base and it matters to the 40,000 experts on our platform, many of whom are very excited about things like this. And so when we had the chance to get involved with Forbes, we were thrilled to do so because we saw a direct link between the upside of this event and the continued growth of our business. So we couldn't be more excited to be on board. It's particularly meaningful for us that it's in Boston. When we started the business 4.5 years ago, which feels like 40 years ago, there were plenty of venture capitalists in New York and in San Francisco who wanted us to leave and move there. And I'm from New York originally. My grandfather's from Dorchester, but I'm from New York. And we didn't think about moving to either of those places for 1 second because not out of any misguided sense of loyalty to Boston and not for any kind of emotional reason, but because we truly felt this was the best place to build a great company. And it's been so meaningful to us to do that with the community here, the support of a fantastic government at both the state and the local level. And so this event we see as just the natural outgrowth of a serious commitment to this city and to this tech ecosystem.
Yeah, as Rob mentioned, we're not up here because we're Forbes 30 Under 30 recipients. I tried hard to get Randall to make it Forbes 30 Under 34 this year, but to no avail. But I think we're here, and we're happy to have you here because we represent a big change in the tech landscape for Boston, a change that's been happening over a number of years, but that is hitting a point of growth and momentum that Boston hasn't had before. I'm from Dorchester, not just my grandparents, but I'm from Dorchester. I often tell people, St. Anne's. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. That's how you know I'm really from Dorchester. I'm from Dorchester. You know, I always tell people that nobody loves Boston more than I do. You know, the mayor has told me that he probably disagrees with that. You know, and I went to MIT. And when I left MIT, Boston was not a place that people thought about staying and building a company. That was in 2008. And it just wasn't the place that people thought about building a technology company. And I'll tell you what, things have changed. Things have changed, and the Forbes 30 Under 30 event here is a massive signal of things changing. Things have changed because companies like GE are moving here, and we're happy to have some of our friends from GE here with us today. Things have changed because we have support from the government and from business leaders in Boston that we just didn't have before. And things have changed because people like General Catalyst and other great firms in Boston are doing what it takes to keep great companies here and to keep great talent here. The momentum in Boston has never been stronger than it is today, and we are damn proud to be building a company here. Thank you very much for having us.
That was great. Well, thank you, guys. And next, I'd like to bring to the stage who is one of the great Boston success stories, I think, in terms of a startup that became big time and multi-billion-dollar valuations, and also a great supporter of the Under 30 Summit last year. So Jeff Leiden, Vertex, CEO of Vertex, please come on up. Thank you much, man.
Thank you. It's really it's a pleasure to be here. First of all, I was really glad to hear about AARP because I've been lobbying these guys for a 60 over 60 for a long time, and I think this could be the start of something really special. I also want to thank David Fialco. All of this wouldn't have happened without him. For those of you that know him, you know, I think the first time I heard about this, David, was one of your famous 2 a.m. tweets or emails that I got. I get these emails. I have a great idea, 2 a.m. I go, David, tomorrow. But his effort here was really very, very special and made it happen. So thank you, David. You know, we've been very fortunate in Boston and in Massachusetts over the last 30 years to build this incredible innovation ecosystem. Obviously starts with our great universities, teaching hospitals, moves on to our venture capitalists and the small startups like Catalant. By the way, I was really happy that Catalant's here in the Seaport, so thank you for moving down here because it's a lot of support for us, and what a great space. And then it moves on to the bigger companies like Vertex that are supported by the public markets, obviously, these days in our own revenues. And we've been outstanding at executing on that system, both in life sciences and, as you said now, in tech. Sometimes we haven't been as good about talking about it, about bragging about it, about telling people about it. That, you know, we're modest by nature here in Boston and Massachusetts. And that's really where the Forbes 30 Under 30 comes in. Because it's a way that we can talk to the international community about what we're doing here in the innovation ecosystem, a really important way. Last year, I think we had more than 600 young 30 under 30 entrepreneurs and several thousands others come here. We hosted an event at Vertex, which was a life sciences event, and we had over 100 young life sciences entrepreneurs to Vertex to really hear from the leaders of the biotech community. It was amazing, and they were amazing. But what's most impressive to me is I still am in email contact with a number of those entrepreneurs who either want to move to Boston, who are come here for jobs, or who want to develop their careers here. And that wouldn't have happened without the 30 under 30. So I think it's a really important convening point. So based on that, we are proud at Vertex to announce this year that we're going to be sponsoring the Life Sciences Discovery Stage at this year's event. I was just talking with Randall about it. We're going to make it a super cool event where we highlight the entire ecosystem here, and saying to the governor, next year bio's going to be here. And so this is going to be a really happening time from a convening standpoint. We're doing great, but we just got to talk about it more. And so thank you for all you do. Thanks for bringing this here. We're really looking forward to it this year. It's my pleasure to introduce the mayor now, and one of the things I should have mentioned is one of the real elements of our success here in Massachusetts has been having a city and a state government that get it. They really care about innovation. They work with all of us. They work together to make innovation a reality here. And the fact that the mayor and the governor are here today, I mean, that says it all. They're busy guys who have a lot of things to do, and the fact they chose to do this just tells you worlds about their support. We've had the opportunity to work with both of them over the years, and they're both terrific supporters of the ecosystem. So, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Jeff, and thank you for everything you do in our city as well. I want to thank David. This kind of came out of a dinner that David was hosting that Dan and myself were at Danco. We were talking about Boston. Forbes was at the dinner, Randall was at the dinner, and we were going on about Boston, how great it is, and what we should do here. And before you know it, we're having a conversation about bringing the Forbes under 30 Forbes conference here to Boston, and then we had it here. So thank you. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for putting that dinner together, and thank you for your involvement. Pat and Rob, thank you. I mean, I think they both summed it up about Boston and where we are as a city. And I'm blessed to have a chief of staff, Dan Coe, who was an under 30. I think he was an alum of the under 30. He made the special club, right? He's in the special club, the 700 Club. Club that myself and the governor will never be in. But we might be in that AARP special tent that night. So we are excited about that, wherever that party is. There's going to be extra porta potties there, you know. Just in case. Thanks, Michael. Thank you, Mike Festa. Water, you know. But I want to thank you for that. But anyway, you know, this is an exciting time in the city of Boston for us. And people keep talking about the relationship between the governor and the mayor. I mean, it's about moving our city forward. I see Cam Neely from the Bruins here, who was at our first meeting. You know, it's about moving our city forward. And how do we move it forward is by making sure we make it a fun city. And bringing this event is not necessarily fun. It's a fun event, but it's not just bringing a fun event. It's one of the smartest things we can possibly do to bring here. When this conference came to Boston last year, I had a conversation with Michael Nutter, from the former mayor of Philadelphia, and he said, you know, it's going to be an incredible opportunity for the city of Boston and for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and it certainly has turned out to be that. So again, I just want to thank everyone for being here today. I look forward to the party. I look forward to the conversation. I look forward to the dialogue. I look forward to all of that. I don't know if I'm bringing up Randall up here. Am I supposed to bring Randall up here now? Okay, I'm gonna bring up Randall, the editor. But seriously, last year we had the conversation, and we were talking about how do we, you know, I was thinking about how do we market the city better, and Randall was thinking about a little later on how do we make sure this conference is truly spectacular and one that the whole world is going to envy. And we're able to take a great company in Forbes and a great city in Boston, a great state in Massachusetts, put them together and create this great conference. Come on up here, Randall.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Governor. My name is Randall Lane. I'm not from Dorchester. And I'm not under 30 either, although I'm mentally frozen at 27, which is helpful. But I did start a company when I was under 30. I do relate, and I do think I was, that moment was so high, I think it did affect me. I actually raised, when I was 27, I raised $18 million for a company. I was at Forbes as a writer, and I had a friend who was a sales guy, and we said, let's get out of here and start our own company. We raised 18 million bucks, and the one condition, that was when that was real money, by the way, and and the one condition on the funding was they said, we'll give you 18 million bucks, but you can't be in New York, because they said you got to get out. So we said, we are going to locate this company in Boston. And so I ran a Boston startup, a 10-digit funded Boston startup in my 20s. So I relate. The issue was, and this is 20 years ago, after 1 year, we moved to New York because the infrastructure was not here. The startup infrastructure wasn't here. And we couldn't, there was all this amazing talent coming out of Boston's unparalleled college graduating classes, but we couldn't keep the talent here. There wasn't enough. And if this event is for anything, because Boston's obviously changed 100%, and I have no doubt that if we had been doing this now, we would not even have thought of leaving. But if we can do anything with this event, it's sending a message to A, to the world, and B, to Boston, and especially people who come to Boston to study from all over the world, that this is a place where if you get funded and if you start a company or if you want to start a company, you have an idea, that you could do it here. So everything we do is predicated on that idea. And so we are thrilled to be back. I'm going to go over some of what we're doing to make what was a great event a extra great event. But before that, we want to bring up a couple people, what really makes the event great. So as much as we spend all our time on programming, who our speakers are, and what we're going to do at night, and how we're going to get everyone interacting, it's the audience. The event, I hate to say it, but what we do at Forbes is less important than who we bring. And what we do is we bring this unbelievable cohort who are going to lead the field, who are going to lead their fields. I mean, one by one, we're handpicking all these folks from around the world. These are the people who are going to run every single field around the world for the next 50 years. So to have them in one spot is truly the magic of this event. And so I want to call a couple of them up just to say a few words. First, we have, where's Ricky Eschenfelder, who is coming up? I'll let you, but Ricky was a finalist in our $1 million pitch competition last year. And Ricky, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience.
Sure. Thank you, Randall. As Randall mentioned, my name is Ricky Eschenfelder. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Spoiler Alert. We are a software startup based in the Back Bay, hoping to someday be able to afford an office here in the Seaport. But for now, we are a team of 10 that was thrilled to participate in the Forbes Under 30 Summit last year as a participant in the for-profit Change the World competition. And what the summit and competition offered for us was the ability to expand our brand outside of New England and to serve as a really strong recruiting tool and to help us build a network of entrepreneurs and co-founders for us to support one another. On a personal note, it was also incredibly humbling to be featured in the Forbes 30 Under 30 list this past year, but most importantly, out of recognition for it being an honor for our company. At Spoiler Alert, we are working with the world's leading food businesses to help them manage unsold inventory. We do that by giving them the data, the insights, and the outlets they need to better manage a product that otherwise goes to waste. And we do that because we believe hunger and food waste represent two of the world's most challenging and pressing environmental and social problems of our time. And our roots are here in Boston. We were born out of MIT in 2015. And we've benefited from an incredibly welcoming and supporting ecosystem through resources and love, through Mass Challenge, Techstars Boston, and MIT Sloan. As a native of Philadelphia, I am thrilled to be building Spoiler Alert here to continue to tap into the phenomenal talent base and to call Boston home for many years to come. Thank you.
Next up, we have Ben Harvatine. Ben was last year on a panel we had called The New Edisons. So no pressure, Ben, but tell us why you are one of the new Edisons. But it was, by the way, one of our absolute best panels. But Ben, take it away.
I'll take the tall mic here. Yeah, so hopefully I sound smart after that intro. So I'm Ben Harvatine. I'm the founder and CEO of Jolt. We make a head impact sensor for athletes with a connected mobile app for parents, coaches, and trainers. Two big things that stand out to me about our involvement with Forbes through being on the Under 30 list and attending the Under 30 Summit. One was maybe being a little different from some of the other startups out there. We chose to be as scrappy as possible and bootstrap ourselves into the ground in some ways. And so getting that recognition on the Forbes list did a fantastic job of helping team morale, keeping us grinding and pushing to keep doing what we're doing. And it really helped to get us a little bit of extra recognition, some ways to get some doors open that we wouldn't have otherwise had open. It really opened up an amazing network of support to us, in addition to the network of support in Boston that we were already relying on. The other big thing that stood out to me was last year's Under 30 Summit. When you're working in the sort of startup ecosystem, it's really easy to be very isolated and just sort of exposed to other people who are just like you and going through the same stuff that you're going through in building a startup. I think the really amazing thing about the summit was just the variety of people that I met that were working on things that I knew absolutely nothing about, and doing amazing things in those fields. It really opened my eyes up to just a range of people that I would have never otherwise been introduced to, and I've stayed in contact with some of them. And I think that was a really fantastic experience, not just to meet those people, but to be able to welcome them to our city and sort of proudly host them, show them around, maybe take them to the best place to eat. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that being here again.
Finally, we really think, again, entrepreneurship doesn't mean just for-profit entrepreneurship anymore. It's really about solving problems and making the world a better place. And so you see that as a real thread throughout the programming you do. And Maria Vertkin really epitomizes that. And Maria, we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. But this is one of the, you got to have a community. It can't just be, there has to be a kind of, a purpose. And Maria helps define kind of what purpose is about.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I'm Maria Vertkin, and I'm the executive director and founder of Found in Translation. It's an organization based here in Boston that trains low-income and homeless and formerly homeless bilingual women to be medical interpreters and connects them to jobs that badly need their skills and pay well. The program is free, doesn't cost anything. It includes common sense supports like on-site childcare, transportation assistance, career coaching, and direct job placement at $25 to $45 an hour. But if you think about it conceptually, it's also taking immigrant women's most stigmatized characteristic, their linguistic and their cultural background, and helping them to turn it into their biggest asset in the workforce. Access to a medical interpreter is a legally protected civil right. Hospitals have to provide interpreters to all patients who don't speak English well enough. But there's a problem with the talent pipeline. And this is where we come in. We take these two social problems and bring them together so that they could solve each other. And for me, this work is very close to my heart. I'm a social worker. I'm a woman. I'm an immigrant. I'm formerly homeless. And I'm a Forbes 30 Under 30 social entrepreneur. Being part of this community is a big honor. And being part of that amazing event, the summit, was really exciting, but it was also a reminder of, one, how far I've come, and two, how rare my story is. This is a very rare exception and not the rule. And part of my work is to take my story and how I've been able to experience so much socioeconomic mobility through my career and help other people, other women in my shoes, in the shoes of my family and families like mine, to be able to do the same through their career to climb out of poverty permanently. And it's not just the honor of being part of this community, it's not just the excitement, but also the opportunity of partnering. One thing that's different about social enterprise is that often we try to serve people who can't afford to pay for it. And that's tougher. And often you end up seeing a lot of innovation, not just in the product, not just in the service, but also in the funding model. And a lot of these funding models involve you guys. So this has been a great opportunity for us to find partners who can join us in creating social change. And just the way that it's important to me to help others coming up behind me as I experience socioeconomic mobility, I think it's very important to other leaders in the for-profit sector to be able to do the same. So I encourage you guys to check out the list of not just the technology, not just advertising, but also the social entrepreneurs list, and see where you want to help to make the world, and especially Boston, not just be on the forefront on technology, not just on innovation, but be on the forefront of social change. Thank you.
Great. So again, for those who weren't there last year, the reason I think you want to be part of this event is because you have 7,000 Marias and 7,000 Bens and 7,000 Rickies in one place at one time. It's mind-blowing. So what are we going to do to take advantage of that and the fact that we have all this firepower in one place at one time? So I'm going to go over in 5 minutes or less, maybe 4 minutes, what's going on. So all right, first of all, we are not trying to reinvent the wheel. Innovation does not mean you have to flip it 180 degrees every time. We're going to take what was great and bolster that. So The Under 30 Village in City Hall Plaza was the hub. Everybody talked about how that cemented the community, so we're going to make that bigger. The music festival, we have a new partner we're going to discuss, and we're researching Boston charities to tie into that event, and we always open that up to Boston citizens who've done good for Boston and for the Commonwealth, so that really is meant to be an inclusive event. We're going to return the Tech Capital Impact and Create stages. They all worked really well. We are talking about doing an entire block body on Lansdowne. We even met with Linda Henry today with the idea maybe we could even go in Fenway Park a little bit as part of the bar crawl. That really shows off Boston, obviously, as well as anything possibly can. We have 2 food festivals. One is for national chefs. We also have a Taste of Boston, showcase local chefs. The Ideas Hubs, pairing VCs and startups. And Service Day, the idea we're going to leave Boston better than we found it. Those were all, we did all that last year. We're going to bolster that all this year. So what's new? That's what's new. First of all, more stages, as Jeff announced. We're going to add the Discover stage. This is the life sciences capital of the world. So why don't we have an entire stage devoted to life sciences? And we're very proud to have Vertex out of the gate as our partner on that. We're going to have a stage for financial advisors. We have a large interest and we have a lot of clout in that area. So now why not bring all the world's top young financial advisors? We're going to make this a walking summit because people loved last year going to Harvard Business School. They loved going to Northeastern, but they complained that you had to choose between kind of networking in the village or going to content far flung. So we're going to make every single venue 5 or 10 minutes walk or less. And we're going to cut down a little bit on the programming at each stage, so there's more time to spend time in the village networking. So that's first thing. Second, something we're very excited about. Tech industry has a problem. We all know that. And so what can this event do to help solve that problem? We're going to have, on the first day of the Under 30 Summit, we're going to have what we're calling, we have a Women at Forbes channel at Forbes, so this is Women at Forbes Under 30. And we're going to address this problem head on in partnership with MIT and MIT's Amazing Solve initiative, who are already running a contest for female entrepreneurs. We have Dabe here from MIT. Thank you for coming. And we appreciate MIT partnering. So what we're going to do is take 500 women from the 30 Under 30 list, and on Sunday we're going to have a summit for women about accelerating women in the ranks of tech leadership, and we're going to do it at the greatest tech university in the world. So we're super excited about that. Under 30 scholars. Mike mentioned that we gave scholarships to the top young seniors, in part because all the Boston companies and the national companies, one-stop shop for amazing talent to come together. It's a great place to recruit. This year we're going to focus a little bit, and what we're going to do, because what we heard from our partners is that they're already touring at the top universities and finding the top talent, but what if we could convene the top talent and the top seniors from underrepresented groups, again, in tech and finance? So what that does is take this scholarship program and give it a twist, and so also that our partners have a chance not just to hire amazingly, but hire in a way that makes their workforce look more like America. Conversations Hub, we heard loud and clear that our participants wanted to talk to each other more and share interests, and while these stages in specific areas were great and bring out the big talent, how could they have smaller conversations in very specific areas? And so what we're going to do is curate in City Hall Plaza and Under 30 Village hundreds of curated talks from 30 Under 30 honorees. You could see Maria curating a talk, about her program and about how to help people, who in hospitals. Or you could see, you could take any 30 Under 30 honoree, let them drill on the area they know best, and have small 10, 20 people talking for an hour. So in some ways, you could have an entire summit just having small conversations, and that's something, again, we heard that people wanted. It's going to be taking place in the beer garden, so that might, help foster some conversation. We're going to have we're going to have a national artist program, and again, it's not just about tech. It's not just about, it's about bringing the top talent from every field, and so we've already secured the funding to have a national artist competition, and we'll have a gallery in Under 30 Village, and we'll have finals on the Create stage. That's very exciting. And that's it. So we are super excited. We are here. If anybody has ideas, we're open to listen. And all those improvements, and I think they are improvements, were based on us listening to folks like everybody in this room about how we take what was quantitatively, I mean, we got the feedback, it was off the charts, but how do we make it the best, which we think it is, the best event for young entrepreneurs and game changers in the world, and how do we make it something that takes it one level up? So that's what we're trying to do. So with that, I want to turn it over. A large reason we're here, as Mike stated, is because I won't name names, but when you look out at what's going on in the world today, and you look at government, and there are a lot of people in this country who don't think that government's working right now. I can say, and I could testify as somebody who does not vote here and does not pay taxes here, that when I come to Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts work because of the leadership that we see there. So that we have the leader of the leaders, the governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Charlie Baker.
So it's all been said. It just hasn't been said by everybody. I'll just add a couple of observations here. One is, having spent most of my professional career here in Boston and in Massachusetts, I had a front row seat in the evolution of the Commonwealth and the evolution of the city of Boston over the course of the last 20, 30, 40 years. And I think one of the things you can't say often enough is at some point, all those ideas that were being generated at all those colleges and universities, which were ideas, suddenly became product ideas, and then became small businesses, and then became sustainable operations, and then became game changers and world changers. And it didn't happen overnight. It happened over a fairly long period of time. And I was talking to somebody who is a US Senator now who went to MIT at the same time I was going to Harvard in the 1970s, and we both talked about what Central Square and Kendall Square looked like back then. And well, let's just say it was different. And I have a lot of friends who used to park in the Seaport District and walk over the bridge to go to work. And they parked here because it was proximate to the rest of the city, and there was nothing here except parking lots for the most part. And the Third Harbor Tunnel, the cleanup of Boston Harbor, the depression of the Central Artery, creation of the Ted Tunnel and the O'Neill Tunnel, and this sudden foment of entrepreneurialism across the river in Cambridge. You put all those things together, and it really took what was once just a great collection of colleges and universities and a very historic city, and it's two historic cities, and suddenly turned it into an engine of innovation and change. And you throw on top of that the development of a very robust financial community, which eventually led to a robust collection of investors, which eventually led to a robust collection of folks who were looking to invest in startups and young people in new businesses. And you put that whole mix together, and it translates into a very different Commonwealth and a very different community here than we had 20, 30, 40 years ago. And I remember when David first, I don't think you texted me at 2 in the morning. I think I got it the following morning. But in any event, he definitely, success always has 1,000 fathers. Well, there's Dad on Forbes Under 30 in Boston right there. But I remember saying to Dave at the time, I think a lot of the people who are probably in their 30s or 40s or 20s don't really know much about the new Boston or the new Massachusetts, and probably have a sense about it that's a little dated. And if we can get folks to come here, if Forbes is interested in doing this, people are going to see a place that looks completely different than anything they imagined. And that will create opportunity for us and opportunity for them on a go-forward basis. And this place shows really well. And I get the fact that we grumble a little bit about the fact that it can be congested at times. But the flip side of congestion is proximity. And proximity and that ability to walk from place to place, or to be able to get from one place to another in a short period of time, and the ability to have all this human capital and intellectual horsepower all within a 5-mile radius and right next to an international airport, It's pretty cool. And I think for all of us, it creates great opportunity. And Forbes Under 30, your decision to bring that here, and our opportunity to use it as a way to show off not just the historic part of Boston and Commonwealth of Mass, but where we believe the future is and how we're going to play a big role in it, was just a great marriage. And I think the fact that so many people showed up for it last year and had such a great time and are looking forward to the opportunity next year. And all the things that people are doing to take what was a terrific program and double down on it next year, all I can say is I'm really looking forward to October 1st through 4th. And I think it's going to be a wonderful event for the city. I think it's going to be a wonderful event for the Commonwealth. And I think it's especially going to be a wonderful event for all those people with big ideas, huge dreams, great aspirations, who are, in fact, going to be the people who change the world over the course of the next 50 years. Thank you.
Never get in the way of the governor, and hopefully some food or something. Thank you. You know, there's a couple of things that go into this. Number one, the really great collaboration between the mayor and the governor started for me a couple of years ago when you guys did the Pan Mass Challenge together. And the governor said, I'll do it if the mayor doesn't. We put the both of you on a bike, and that was terrific. And I think it's very apropos of how this all came together. No other city in the country could pull together two of the great leaders together at once and say, let's just go get it done. Let's go get it done fast. Let's play a leadership role. Let's get on the phone. Let's pull the people together. For Mindy and Dan, who kind of were the original collaborators here for the city and the state, thank you. For our friends at Catalant, thank you for hosting us. There's a couple of other people here. I don't know if, did Cam sneak out? Oh, hi Cam. I know you're the quietest guy in the world, but you're my best friend in the world. So I'm glad to have you here, and thank you. And one of the great ideas came from Cam coming up to me and saying, you know, this is a city that people don't understand how much firepower we have. Yes, we have great sports, but then the question became, why do all these kids leave? And we weren't figuring out why people were leaving. They weren't leaving because the opportunities were better somewhere else. They just didn't understand how good we could do things here. And it even happened in my own firm where a lot of my partners started to leave to go to California and New York. And what we all realized is we weren't taking advantage of the opportunity that we have. Three things: great city to live in, unbelievable amount of intellectual horsepower, and number three, there's a lot of really, really good companies here. And success breeds success. We've had tons and tons of great companies over the last really 8 or 10 years, multi-billion-dollar companies be built here, and those companies spawn other companies. And that's really why we're here to do it. Our friends at Forbes have been fantastic. We all saw this as an idea. This is the best place in the world to have this, because not only do we care a ton about entrepreneurship, we have the leadership that will make it happen, and we also have something really unique. We have the best group of young people on the planet here that come for 4 years. We got to just get them to stay another 40 years, build their lives and their families here. Where else can you live 10 minutes outside of the city and ride your bicycle safely? Where else can you hire 75 engineers in 6 months or 4 months if you need to? So it's all about leadership. It's all about the opportunities that we have. We're truly lucky to do it. Thank you for our friends at Forbes, Steve Bertoni and Mike and Randall. You guys made it happen. Thank you. A special thanks to one guy. I want to thank Jeff Leiden. And the reason is he was the first guy to step up. What he's not telling you is I texted him at 2 a.m., but at 2:01 he said, whatever it is, I'm in for it. And I appreciate that. And your leadership this year is going to be terrific. Because when we think about it, the great asset that Boston has, yes, we have great tech companies. Yes, we have great internet companies. Yes, we have great marketplace consulting companies. But the firepower that we can put behind healthcare, I think Kevin Tabb was here. He may have snuck out. But Kevin was here earlier. You know, you have great leaders like Partners and Beth Israel, who's now accumulating other businesses. We have a lot of need, hundreds of people that are needed here to solve the biggest problem in the world is how do we stay healthy and how do we help the world stay healthy? And one of the greatest exports that Boston can have is the fact that we can develop products, programs that some people can use on their laptop, but you can develop some things that people can put into their bodies that can save lives and make the world a better place. That combination, super powerful. Thank you, Forbes, for giving us the catalyst or the catalyst to make this all happen. So thank you all for being here today. We're going to make next year kick-ass. Last year was great. We can't promise 78-degree weather, but we can promise a truly unbelievable experience. Thank you all for coming.
So whether at the beginning or the end, he always brings down the house. But thank you, everyone, for coming. We're really excited about year 2 and making bigger and better, and appreciate all the support we have here in Boston. And all the under 30s, it's been great having you guys, and appreciate you stepping up too to kind of let people know what this is all about. It's really what drives the show here, is when we can hear from the under 30s themselves. So thanks. So thanks, everyone. Catalant, thanks so much, Rob and Pat, for giving us the space. And that's the show.